Did you know that when we're drawing or painting or pretty much doing anything creative, it's kind of impossible to think about anything else? Let me clarify. So I was chatting with a fellow artist and new friend of mine recently, and she let me know that the same part of the brain that actually processes trauma and all of the hurtful things that go on in our lives is the same part of the brain that we use to process information as we are being creative. Whoa. So that's right, when you're filling your brain with decisions about composition and color and not going outside the lines or whatever it might be, your brain is effectively blocking all the bad stuff, all the trauma thoughts, all the hurt. Okay, so I'm not a mental health professional, but this information, even at its most simple, to me seems incredibly powerful. And honestly, I've experienced it in my own life. It's that point in your art making where everything else kind of fades away and you realize 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour later that you weren't thinking about anything else. So today I have 3 fun projects that are going to get you into that state where you're not thinking about anything else pretty quickly, I think. Because number 1, they don't require special supplies. Use what you have, use what you love. Number 2, they really don't require a lot of skill. And this isn't a bad thing. This is a freedom thing. So let's get to it. Okay, so I know I've been calling these projects because I want you to realize that even something that is really an exercise or practice can ultimately give you a finished work of art. So as I start to prep for this one, I'm going to try the whole taping down thing. Now, you know me, I don't tape, but I just kind of feel like this is a perfect opportunity to add a little tape here. My sheet is about a 9x12, a little smaller. I don't know. I think this might actually be a scrap. Friends, if you could just see the state of my studio at any given moment, you would realize what a holy hot mess I really am behind the scenes, but that's okay. I'm pulling over my Art for Joy's Sake watercolor palette, but you use what you've got, what you love, and I'll be using the 3/4 inch flat wash brush. And literally, friends, just a damp brush loaded with juicy color, and you're gonna just create some diagonal lines, and then you're going to intersect those diagonals with others. And this right here, these 2 strokes that I just made are the literal heart and soul of this project. Like, just have at it. Have fun with it. Don't worry about using a dirty brush. Don't worry about how well do I have to rinse in between colors. Like, just run the brush around the page. See the cool stuff that's happening because I bumped up my greenish olive brush next to that blue and it created that crazy like double loaded stroke. Gorgeous. Just keep going with this. And I'm gonna zip it for a moment and let's see where we land. But don't go anywhere because there are 2 more projects after this, not to mention I'm gonna do the whole like tape reveal. What do you call that? Where you rip the tape off and people think it's really satisfying? Yeah, that's coming. Now, as you're working through this project, I do want you to think about your next brush stroke. Don't think about the end result, but think about what color am I going to choose and where am I going to place the brush next? Because we do want to get you into that state where you're not thinking about all the yuck in life, right? So you do want to kind of get into a habit here of making some decisions, but even the simplest decisions can kind of start to block out those bad thoughts. Again, remember, I am not a mental health professional. These are just ideas, conjecture, all the things. All right, let's get this tape off. Like, see, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I don't get that satisfying, like I've got my tape all wrong, but anywho, it created a really kind of fun border, once the tape is removed, I'm not unhappy about it. I don't get tape, like whatever. Friends, just let me know in comments. Do you tape off your watercolor paper? And if you do, why? And I just want to know. Let's get that conversation started. Really want to hear about the taping. And of course, while you're at it, if you think you're going to try this project, if you're having fun just watching and listening to me be a complete goof, go ahead and give this video a boop. It really helps out my channel. Moving on to project number 2, and I am using my 3/4 inch dagger, loading up again with a damp brush, getting that juicy color on there. And this time around, friends, I am double loading, sometimes by accident, because this is a big brush going into the small half pans. Sometimes just on purpose, because I want to see what 2 specific colors will do on the brush. But these are the decisions I want you to be thinking about as you work through this project. Think about, where am I going to place my brush next? Is it going to be a drier brush full of color, 1 color or 2, so double dipping or not? And those decisions enough spread out over the entire 9x12 sheet of watercolor paper should get you into that joyful, happy, blocking out all the ugly state of mind pretty quickly. So the size of your paper is actually pretty important for these projects. We don't want to work on smaller paper here. Now, we certainly don't need to work on 18x24 or anything either, but a good 9x12 is going to be the perfect size. It's big enough for you to get into things, long enough for you to start to actually feel the benefits of the paint, so I block out all the yuck stuff. Yeah. Wow. Did that even make any sense? I hope it did. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now and let's watch this one unfold. Earlier on, I mentioned my new friend and fellow watercolor artist. Her name is Tammy, and I'm gonna pop all of her information up on screen here just to give you a little look at her face, and I want you to go seek her out. I want you to give her a shout out, whether it's on Instagram or on her YouTube channel. She's got both, so definitely check her out, tell her I sent you, and just thank her for this little nugget of information that inspired everything about today's video. And I'm gonna link all of her links below, so no worries. You'll be able to find her super easy. All right, here we go. And let me just say, I did all of these 3 projects within the confines of about 45 minutes, just under actually. And so I would highly suggest that you do the same. Run through all 3 of these projects in one sitting if you can make that happen. You'll have that much more chance of really getting into that joy state. And you might have noticed I'm using Arches watercolor paper, and some of you might be like, oh my gosh, you're using the best stuff for just some practice. But yes, you know why? Because I owe it to myself to really do the good self-care. And when it comes to self-care, good supplies have a lot to do with it. That's me. If you're the same, let me know. Would you dare use Arches or any other really high quality paper for practice? And if not, tell me why. Let's talk about it in comments. Okay, this last one is definitely my favorite, and it's one that I do all the time. There is a bunch of them on this channel, and it's basically creating a composition of leaves. I'm gonna link a bunch of them below, just in case you like this one and you wanna do more. All right, so let's get into it. I've switched to my 1/2 inch dagger from my Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. If you want to know more about my art supplies that I've designed, I'm going to put the links below and you can check it out. Start with any color. Decide whether you want a dry brush, a damp brush, or a super wet brush, and make a few leaves. We're not going to really change the technique of the leaf painting at all. So it's a press, a very slow drag, maybe a little bit of a twist as you drag, and then a slow lift at the end. So press, slow drag, a little bit of a twist, and a slow lift at the end to get that nice point. And you're just gonna change up your color as you go. So already on the page, I have 3 different colors. And honestly, I probably have more like 6 or 7 because I let my brush run out of color and I get a much lighter version. And so, yeah, that's it. We're gonna just fill the page. Some of my leaves are gonna be longer and skinnier, some are gonna be more plump. And these are the kind of decisions I want you to think about here. So how much water's on your brush? Are you gonna double dip into 2 or 3 colors? Are you gonna do single colors? Or how long are you gonna use the red versus the blue? These are the things that you should be kind of mulling over. And these are the things that are gonna get you into that blessed joy state. Friends, don't worry yourself too much about the composition of this particular project unless you want to, because I'll be honest, it will unfold for you naturally. And if you want to follow mine, go ahead, but if following me perfectly is stressing you out, don't do it. Go your own way. I am doing a lot of double dipping here. I'm also doing a lot of letting the brush run out after a double or triple dip, and that is producing some of the most incredible textures and results. Notice what's going on in that bottom left-hand corner. All right, friends, I'm gonna zip it and let you watch this piece unfold. So you found your joy state and you want more, so head on over to this video next. It's an oldie but a goodie. And until next time, I wish you so much joyful, peaceful, happy painting.